You know it for its crude, outrageous, and borderline too far moments. But is there actually an argument for South Park being a wholesome show? South Park is, let's face it, a rather crude and not safe for children comedy, despite the primary characters being kids. It's known for its toilet humor, pushing the boundaries of political correctness, and just Cartman being Cartman.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
South Park is a great piece of satire, which often parodies a number of real-life events and movies, and literally, no one is safe. Especially Ben Affleck. But it isn't just outrageous moments and fart jokes. Sometimes South Park can have not only something serious and melancholy to say, but something wholesome and even inspirational. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the sweetest and saddest and happiest moments that show South Park can do more than just shock us with comedy, but actually pull at our heartstrings. From sibling love, epic bromances, and even the worst characters showing they have a heart, get ready to put your hats on and head over to the snowy town of South Park. Of course, some of the most wholesome content comes from one of the sweetest and naive characters on the show, Butters. Butters often brings a softer edge to the show, with his innocent view on the world being polar opposites to the likes of Cartman. He's goofy and wide-eyed, and let's face it, if you don't like him, you probably don't have a soul. But one of his sweetest moments comes at one of his saddest. It's also an episode that shows the difference between him and the rest of the crew. After Stan breaks up with his on and off girlfriend Wendy, after fighting about whether or not they were on a break.
We were on a break! Oh my god!
No, sorry, that's the wrong show. Stan, after breaking up with Wendy, goes off and joins the town's group of goth kids. In the episode, Butters also goes through emotional heartbreak after he's ditched by a Raisins waitress he thought he was dating. In a scene, Stan and the emo kids offer Butters to join their crew, but the disparity between them is shown firstly through the lighting. Butters is in bright colors while the emo crew are all in dark colors, and then secondly in what Butters says next.
The only way I can feel this sad now is if I felt something really good before. So I have to take the bad with the good. So I guess what I'm feeling is like a beautiful sadness.
Butters goes on to give a deep and somewhat inspirational quote about how we should embrace grief and embrace the beautiful sadness that makes us feel alive. Pretty profound for a show that jokes that Bono is a human-sized turd. I hope you're not lactose intolerant, because you're about to get a second serving of Butters.
Well, that's me.
As we've said a few times already, Butters' naivety is part of the reason that we love the character, but it's very surprising seeing his concerning home life. Butters may see the world in a happy light, but back home, his gay father is trapped in the closet, and his mother is deeply unhinged. In fact, she is so unhinged that in Butters' solo episode, she actually drowns him. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you guys think that that's endearing and wholesome, then you are deeply disturbed, and you would be right in thinking that. Not right in thinking that we're disturbed. It's what happens later on in the episode that makes it endearing, with Butters eventually making his way home and his parents showing that they do actually love their son in their own dysfunctional and twisted way. It's also endearing to see that despite all the hardship and turbulence at home, Butters is still such an optimistic person. See, we had a point here. When fans think of Kenny, they think of the hooded figure and muffled voice and the kid that always dies.
Oh my god, they killed Kenny! You!
Like, a lot. But there is actually a lot more depth to Kenny than meets the eye, especially when he's serving as his alter ego, Mysterion. Yeah, I know, bombshell, right? No one knew he was Mysterion. Mysterion is the most powerful superhero in South Park, other than Mint Berry Crunch, of course. In one episode, Mysterion uses his powers for good to protect his sister, who's been sent to a new foster home. Kenny, dressed as Mysterion, sneaks into the foster home and stays with his sister to protect her and keep her safe. He also later protects his sister from a bunch of bullies, and although the scene goes into typical South Park cartoon violence, he strictly tells them to leave her alone, or he basically will give them another butt whooping. Then, in epic style, he absconds with his sister, vanishing after throwing down a bunch of firecrackers. The scene is still in keeping with the South Park satire theme, but it also gives us a heartwarming moment with Kenny standing up for his sister. As we are on the subject of sibling love, the bond between Kyle and Ike is also particularly strong. While Kyle and Ike may not be blood related, with Ike being a maple syrup guzzling moose riding Canadian, in the episode Ike's Weewee, we see Kyle going to bat to protect his little brother's, well, you guessed it, his Weewee. In the episode, the Broflovskis plan on having Ike circumcised, but Kyle flat out refuses, believing that the procedure is a lot more gruesome than he thinks, and seeks to protect his brother's manhood. In fact, Kyle actually thinks that his brother is going to have his Don Johnson chopped off, and decides to protect him even after learning that the two are not blood brothers. Because some things are more important than blood, damn it. Again, even though the episode is handled in typical South Park humor, the main focus of a naive and youthful bunch of brothers standing up for one another despite the fact that they're not related is touching, and shows that even in amongst all the absurdity, there can be a heartfelt message. Keeping on with Ike's beaver-hugging, hockey-playing Canadian roots, we see another dramatic act of love between the brothers when Ike is forced to return to the icy north where winter is always coming. This happens after the mysterious new PM of Canada demands that all Canadian-born Americans must return to their native land because he's not our buddy guy.
I'm not your guy, buddy.
Honestly, no wonder they had a song called Blame Canada. Ike does return to Canada and moves in with the Canadian couple, leading the boys to go on a typical wild and wacky Wizard of Oz style odyssey through Canada as they search for Ike. The adventure is hilarious and crazy, but the emotional payoff when Kyle and Ike reunite at the end is astounding and moving. So much so that it even convinces the couple to allow Ike to return to the States with the Broflovskis, and shows that brotherly love defies even borders. Kyle may have an actual brother in Ike, but he also has a brotherly relationship with his BFF Stan. The two are almost inseparable, are always picking the other up and supporting each other, and have a bromance up there with the likes of Joey and Chandler, JD and Turk, and me and Chris Hemsworth. Although that last one is rather a one-way street. Honestly, Chris, you're obsessed. Stop messaging me. Yeah, okay, but there is one moment between the two bros that sticks out more than the rest, and that is the time Stan offered to give Kyle his kidney. In one episode, Kyle learns he desperately needs a kidney transplant and his family desperately seeks a way to save him. While characteristically, Cartman offers his kidney to Kyle for $10 million, a desperate and saddened Stan wants to give Kyle his kidney no matter how much it hurts, wanting to do whatever he can to save his friend. Come on, now if that's not wholesome, I don't know what is. While the bromance in the show may be shared between Kyle and Stan or Randy and his glorious mustache, there is another that goes somewhat under the radar: Tweek and Craig. In the episode Put It Down, we see more of the characters Tweek and Craig, who were really no more than side characters beforehand. The episode focuses on a paranoid Tweek who is driven to hysteria, worrying that North Korea will bomb them after some fiery Twitter exchanges. Craig seeks to calm Tweek down and looks for ways to make him better. Their relationship may have started in comedic circumstances with the town forcing them to be friends, but their friendship grew into a surprising heartfelt bond, and their dynamic in this episode makes for a surprisingly sweet and wholesome moment. When you think of sweet and lovable characters in South Park, your mind probably drifts towards Butters instead of Stan's angry sister, Shelly. But in a surprising plotline in the episode Broadway Bro Down, we see Shelly have a surprisingly endearing relationship with a boy named Larry. Larry has a very strict family who force him to be vegan and wear a life jacket at all times so he doesn't drown. Wait a minute, not everyone's parents did that for you? The life jacket thing? Oh, those are bad parents. Anyway, strangely though, Shelly and Larry strike up a bond, and Shelly helps Larry get out of his shell, as he says, or sings rather, and even leads him to eat Burger King. Like, really? Burger King? If you're gonna eat meat or fast food for the first time, bruh, make a Taco Bell. When I'm done talking about South Park, I'm gonna go crush a chalupa. You might be surprised that one of the most selfish characters on the show, and one who even fed his rival's parents to him unknowingly, makes it onto this list, but even one of the most depraved characters, Cartman, has a heart. While Cartman is known for his anti-Semitic views, he unwittingly follows along a plot line strikingly similar to the Nazi Holocaust. When cats are outlawed for being seen as an illegal substance, they are quickly rounded up and taken away. But despite Cartman having a strained relationship with his cat, Mr. Kitty,
No, Kitty, this is my bad Kitty.
he does love his feline friend and hides him in the attic. In fact, he begins hiding a number of cats in his attic, not wanting to see them being taken away, and has South Park citizens seeking him out to hide their treasured pet. What is so surprising about this episode is that Cartman doesn't have some kind of hidden agenda or selfish means, and he is actually just doing this out of empathy and the goodness of his heart. A sentence I never thought I'd say.
They're innocent victims in this, Cal. They have to hide or they'll be put to death. Something you just can't understand.
This next entry may not exactly be wholesome, but boy is it emotional. Kenny may be the kid who's always dying, usually for the purpose of a quick gag, but at one point he was actually killed off for good.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny!
Yes, they did. For good. Well, kind of. South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone soon realized that they were out of ways to kill Kenny, so they decided to do it once and for all. In an episode, Kenny doesn't die straight away, but instead is left bedridden after becoming sick. The gang visit Kenny in the hospital, but Stan can't bear to look at him and has to leave. Kyle tries to get Stan to come back, but he refuses. Meanwhile, Cartman puts on a brave face, but after leaving Kenny's room, breaks down in tears. Stan eventually plucks up the courage and heads to the hospital with a gift, but as he enters the room, Kenny's bed is empty. Kyle tells Stan that he just suddenly stopped breathing, and an emotional Stan exclaims that he never got to say goodbye. But the final crushing blow comes when Kyle tells Stan Kenny's final words.
He just said, "Where's Stan?"
Fans were left emotional wrecks until the show finally brought Kenny back in the next season. What did you make of this list? What was your favorite moment? Any that we missed? Let us know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content. See ya!